man. And again, I hope Baba get a chance to jump on here. This is his teaching, his science. I don't want to, murk the man lessons up. But he started out with saying, all right, so if you are thinking about time itself, your ancestry, right? It never dies. You know what I'm saying? Like you are your ancestors' wildest dreams, but your ancestors are still here. They're still like guiding you, pushing you, helping you meet the right people. Like that coincidence, that synchronicity in your life, them your angels. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, when brothers be painting the t-shirts with, the angel wings on their homie or their auntie or their he said, they don't really know how right they are. Because spiritually, you know what I'm saying, you paying reverence to them and honoring them gives them a light so they can now help push you forward in the future, right? But what he was also saying is that, in a time, in a place, in a space, they're still here. They're not gone. So the things that you do today for them actually help you right now. And I was like, all right, nigga, you lost me. He was like, he's like, all right, start with this. This is last year. He was breaking this down to me. He's like, start with this. He said, take a glass of water. Take a picture of if one of your parents is passed, take a picture of one of your past parents, put the glass of water up there, and just every day, just pray to the water. And just pay attention to how things start to alter in your life, how things start to make a little bit more sense. Things become a little bit clearer. I was like, all right, let me try this. You know what I'm saying? I got 9 pictures, 9 glasses of water right now in a year because the energy that actually happened from that first glass started to help me get more and more in touch with my family. Like, I'm finding out things about my family. I'm 37 years old that I've never known. Like it's just being revealed to me. Like my father's side of the family go all the way back before the Civil War. Like my oldest ancestor was born in 1815 on record. And he lived to be 106 years old. And he Cherokee. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, where do you find this type of shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was like, that's because your ancestors want to be remembered. They want to be reverenced. And they want to help you go forward. The second part of that he was saying is that when you put out the glass of water for your ancestors, you actually are helping them quench their thirst. It's giving them something that they didn't have. When you go fix up Big Mama house, you know what I'm saying, and clean it up and clean up her yard, her spirit, her energy is still alive. It remembers that. It appreciates that. And that energy, that sacrifice that you give in that space and time, they actually return that energy to you with guidance, wisdom, blessings, a new job, that $100 that you found on the side of the street when you was broke, that's your ancestors trying to push you forward. I said, I never thought about it like that before. That's a pretty deep science. The next part that he broke down to me, he was like, look, I want you to understand that everything you're doing right now is so you could be the ancestor for your children, for your nieces and nephews, for the people who are coming after you. And your job right now is to make sure that they have a better tomorrow. So he's like, I hear you complain about certain things and say certain things, but you got to understand that people who came before you had a steeper hill carrying a heavier load. And if they don't make that climb up the mountain, you don't get it. So it's like, it's no way in the world you can quit. There's no way you can give up. And as he was breaking down that science, it was just stirring my spirit, man. He was like, yo, this is ancestor worship. He said, this is something all tradition should be doing, but our tradition does it the least. And he says it's just because we have been, we have a superstition about that. When somebody dead, that's it, buddy. Plant them and put them on a t-shirt, keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, if you look at every other tradition, not only just, let's say Cinco de Mayo, Mardi Gras, let's look at, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when you were looking at the Catholic Church, if you walk into a Catholic church, there are candles all over the altar. The entire altar is full of candles. And every time somebody wants to remember an ancestor, they walk into that church, they light that candle, and they pray to that ancestor. They're doing ancestor worship right in the church. And he was like, that's something that we've gotten away from. So we're wondering why we're so disconnected and we struggle so much with generational curses, because your ancestors are not connected to you. You're not paying them any homage. So I'm gonna pause right there for a minute, man, just to kind of see how everybody kind of feels about that. I know I said a lot and we can go over it, but that's kind of how he was breaking it down to me. And we'll get into generational curses on the second part, but he was saying you can't even touch the curses because you're not even in touch with the ancestors who got the curses. You know what I'm saying? You're not even paying attention to their life and understanding what they went through, what caused them to be this way. I had an old uncle who was mean as a rattlesnake. And as I started to learn more about his upbringing and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, Unc done seen some things, you know what I'm saying? Boy done been in two world wars, had came back home and, you know what I'm saying, had first wife passed on him while he was on, over there fighting for America, getting spit on, called the N-word, and then, come back home to a dead wife. Yeah, over time, that's gonna make you a little lemony now. You ain't gonna be too, that's gonna make you a little tart. So, and I always hated him. Like I just never really liked the dude. And as he got older, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he got more somber, we just started connecting with each other more. We just got a chance to talk. And when he passed, like I remember he was just like a child, man. Like he had kind of lost a little bit of his sensibilities, and he just tell you stories, man, and be funny. And like he returned to himself before all that bad stuff happened to him. And it was just amazing, like to have that connection with him, because my whole life he was the one I was just looking at like, man, this cat right here always got something nasty to say. Don't never, ain't never positive. But behind the scenes, he was holding the family up. He was, he was making sure everybody was good. Behind the scenes, he's doing all the little things that you didn't know he was doing. But, he's the reason why your dad paid the light bill sometime. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, he said the problems start to happen in families. You know what I'm saying? Because we get too emotional and we automatically, cut the ties and break that lineage and wonder why you can't reap any blessings. So, but I'll pause right there again, man. Let you brothers kind of just, kind of share your thoughts on where we are. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so the first part of that joint is super interesting, especially the part we said about lighting the candle in the church, bro. Just because, like, man, that's wild. I didn't even think about it, yo. Like, and I guess that kind of goes like the like people getting cremated and them being in urns that you have in the house, like that's just wild, man. Or even going to like go talk to your people, because people go do this all the time, like go to people grave sites and go holler at them there too. And they're like, man, like I really feel it. Like it's a conversation. Like they said, they feel like they can actually feel the person talking back to them, yo. So like that kind of blew my mind. But like at the same time, like why wouldn't that exist? Like we talk about it all the time. Like we got our people watching over us. So like, and like there are things that we know that like didn't happen, or like people talk about all the time. And I guess they say jokingly, they said like, man, like like that must have been like my grandma made a deal with God. So I don't know what she put some strings up there, but she put on for us.
Right.
And like the second part of it is, man, it's like, yeah, like not really even knowing the things that in your family, or being able to see that perspective. Like you was talking about how your uncle been in all those wars, dog. It's like, if we don't know what they did, or we don't know the things that they saw, and like they already say that we kind of predisposed to do the things that they've already done, just because like, man, it might be nature, it might be nurture, it might be because like this is how we saw people act, so that's how we act ourselves. Or it might be a situation of like, man, like maybe that our genetics do got something to do with how we act. But if we don't know that, then we can't actively fight against it. So we are destined to repeat those things again. So I guess the first one like contributes to the second one. You got to know what the hell you got going on and who your people are, so that you can be better for yourself, or like understand the world better through the perspective of your family, so that you can put your best foot forward.
Blew my mind, man. I'm telling you, I appreciate the comments, Trey, but that's where I ended up getting. That's why I wanted to have this conversation. I hope the brother jump on, man, because he got so many layers to it, man. I hope he does pop on. But please, man, everybody else, you know what I'm saying? Seafood, real quick synopsis, man. Just having a quick conversation about generational curses from a spiritual perspective, right? I was in touch, taking a couple of classes last year, and got in touch with a real good Babalawo, and he was just kind of breaking it down to me. Um, that your ancestors are never gone; they're still here, and paying reverence to them and doing certain things to kind of show honor to them gives them the power to help influence you in the now. And because you're not doing that, and because we as a people are not doing that, we're trying to forge ahead without even understanding where we're coming from in our own family. Like you'll have a brother run out here and try to connect himself to Africa and the Indian, but won't even look at his own family tree and see where he's from. He can't even count back 3 generations. And he said it's mind blowing to me. And he's Nigerian, you know what I'm saying, by blood, but he's born in America. And he just talks about how different like the mindset is, like how important your bloodline is to where you are right now. And that's kind of where we ended up kind of having this conversation, is like, making sure that, if you don't know how to, pay reverence to a worship or ancestor in your family, making sure that you just begin it as soon as possible. If it makes sense to you, do it. If it don't, cool, keep moving. But I can only speak from personal experience. Ever since I started doing it, I started to get in touch and have a relationship with my family on a completely different level. Me and my mom talk like sometimes I'm shocked by some of the stuff she tell me. I'm like, wow, like word that happened. She sent me 2 pictures of 2 ancestors this morning, and they look white to me. I can't say they white, but they look white to me. And I was like, wow, okay, that's a part of my family heritage. That's a part of my family. I would have never known that. But just, paying reverence to your ancestors starts to kind of change your now and helps you get a better appreciation for your now. And then we'll talk about the second part, but I just wanted to let everybody kind of, breathe on that and just kind of share what they feel about that. So I'm bringing you up to speed, Sifu, and, Dirty and Dorian, please, man, you brothers, please let me know what
Well,
you're thinking.
I got I got a personal experience with that because I've lost a few family members over the last 5 years. First, my grandma, my dad's mom, she was real close to me. And it's like as soon as they transition, I feel this feeling that they're like with me wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, no matter if it's bad or good. It's like they looking at me. My my dad, me and him, we never had a real good relationship. But like when he died, I don't usually like talking about this because it make me seem crazy. But when he died, man, I literally felt his presence like angry at me for some reason or like just because in real life we didn't have that type of bond with each other. So it's like he actually haunted me for a long time. I went through a state of depression. I was like 26 years old. I'm 31 now, but like it I was depressed for like a whole year and a half pretty much because our relationship wasn't that good. But it was like in his death, I felt him. It's like I know more about my dad now when he died or after he died than I ever did before. And you
Right.
know, I was like what 25, 26 at the time. And that really just changed my whole perspective on spirituality and everything. Like I talk to my people, that they're not here anymore, but I talk to them, I feel them, you know, like you said you had a uncle that was he was an angry guy. Like I had an uncle like that I worked with doing plumbing. He had his own business in Colombia. So I would go around with him every summer. We worked. He cussed me out. I cuss him out. We just get into it sometimes, but it was like the impact that he had on me because my dad wasn't there to teach me how to be a man. He was basically like my father.
Mm.
So, he taught me how to work with my hands, which is the reason I'm surviving today. because I'm not a scholar, you know what I'm saying? I'm not college educated. I'm not that smart, but you know, I could fix an AC, I could fix a toilet, I could live, I could survive. So I owe him that. But it's like every day though, I just feel his presence with me, you know, me trying to start my own business and everything, just trying to get ahead in life because I have a son now. So, you know, like you said earlier, our whole purpose is to make stuff easier for them. You know, I don't want my son growing up having to start where I started. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the move. Like I want him by the time he's 10, I want him investing in stocks, or I'm gonna be investing in stocks because I just started doing that now. And
Right.
that's like a whole nother world we don't know nothing about because you know we don't talk to each other about that type of stuff. Like my generational curse is the fact that my family never told me about credit.
Mm.
You know, they said, hey, don't mess your credit up. Yeah, we all know that story, but why? Like what is it about credit? Why shouldn't I mess it up? Because I'm staying in this apartment now and I need a house. But because I wasn't educated properly on credit limits and percentages, usage, all that type of stuff, it screwed me over. So I'm in this position right now.
Mm.
But I'm gonna get up out of it because we men, we fight. That's what we do. We don't quit. We
Definitely.
don't fold. But you know, this, like you said though, this is an important topic too, because you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, where your people been. You don't know where they from. You don't know who you are. Like
Facts.
my dad was an addict. He was a drug user, and I have a lot of his traits. I have a lot of his qualities, but that isn't one. My dad, I never watched him get up. He was a barber. He used to cut hair. And when he died, that's when I vowed to never cut my hair again. But I did cut it before, but that's a long story. But I grew it back. But he used to make $600 a day. My mom said, cutting hair, doing eyebrows, all this type of stuff, making
Mm.
bank. But he'd
Yeah.
take it and take it to the dope man. And by me understanding more about him when he died, I got curious. I started asking my mama things about him, some of his brothers, just and knowing certain things about him, kind of revealing things about myself that I didn't know about myself because I finally got to know who he was. So it's just like we definitely need to know our ancestors. We need to know where we come from, our fathers, our mothers, because that'll give you a look at who you are
Mm.
and your kids. Like I see my kid got a lot of things that I do that ain't good that I got to change.
Facts.
So I don't know. I know I be all over the place, man. My brain just goes 1,000 miles per hour, but
Sound like you was
that's my
100%
take
on
on it.
point to me, King. I appreciate your
Yeah,
perspective, bro. I do.
yeah.
I do.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I appreciate your perspective, yo. Dirk, I know you know a lot about breaking them curses, boy, but about the reverence for the ancestors, I know that one right there was that was
Deep.
a window.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. And
Yeah.
it's so true. But I'm a firm believer in that too. I feel like they always with us. You feel me? Yeah. They're watching over us, they guiding us, you know. If we listen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know, a lot of us, we don't listen. We hear the intuition, you know what I'm saying? And we all done made the mistakes. We wish we put our first mind. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? All those are, that's them. You feel me? Yeah, that's a justice. So yeah, we definitely need to strengthen the bond between it and become the best that you can become. Yeah, we definitely need to do that, man. There's so many things we've been brainwashed and script of, you know, over the generation, what they stole from us. You know what I'm saying? Then
Yeah,
they stole the good
yeah,
shit. Hey, they feed
yeah,
us the bullshit and then steal the good shit. You feel me? So,
Out here practicing your traditions every single day,
and
but
they
then turn
powerful
around and
too.
tell you it's blasphemous. Don't you do that.
And they powerful too.
What?
All
Nice
right.
with the gift now. Nice
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, man. So it's definitely, and I feel like I'm a firm believer there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
everything a cycle. You know what I'm saying? What you doing now, your daddy them had to do, you feel me? What they going through, you know what I'm saying? They had to do it. It ain't like I tell my son now, ain't nothing you're doing that I ain't did already. Hey,
exactly.
it ain't, I done did it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So it's really a cycle, and That's why it's so important for us to break the cycle, though. You know, if it's bad cycles, you know it ain't helping the family, you know it ain't good for us, it's not gonna put us where we need to be. You feel me? Then we need to break those things, you know.
Facts.
And can't nobody do it for us but us.
Hey, well said, King. I appreciate that perspective. Sifu,
Oh yeah, man.
Yo, can you
what's
hear
your
me?
perspective, bro? Ancestor worship, man. You know what I'm saying? Paying reverence to him, listening to him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the first thing we need to do is recognize that we as a people, as a diaspora, we come from an oratory. We come from a culture that was oral in nature.
Spoken, baby. Spoken word.
It's it's the way we passed our information from generation to generation. And the reason behind it is because, yeah, there is a value in putting words down on paper, but the spirit of an individual passes through that experience. You can breathe spirit into your children just by standing before them while you orate. They can feel. What we're talking about are unspoken spirits, unspoken stories, unspoken messages, good and bad. The chain of transmission is broken. The ancestors are there, but they don't speak digitally. You know?
Cell phone ain't help you, Sifu.
Hey, you know what I mean? You can't dial that number. You know? They speak spiritually. So the way to get back to them is to reintroduce a practice of that oratory, that communication from father to son, from mother to child. You know, something that we use in therapy sessions, family preservation, all the way sort of towards the end of it, we call it family meeting or family time. And it's recommended that you do it at least once a week, and you just call your family together, you sit down, and you just talk to them. That's where it starts. But in that process, you know, in that venue, that environment, depending on how close you choose to get, and see, that's the other thing. We're talking about generational curses, man. Yeah. You're talking about opening a box that a lot of us don't have the heart to open and look at. You know, I may want to teach my children the best of my experiences, because to share with them the worst of my experiences humbles me and knocks me down a peg. Knocks me down a peg in front of the very people that I want to look up to. You know, and sometimes in a world where we are downtrodden to begin with, the only looks of love and affirmation we can expect come from our children. Now, you expect me to sit in front of them and tell them I was less than perfect. But there's a healing in that too, you know. And it's a simple thing to do. Just, you know, sit down with them and have those that heart to heart, have those, but it's got to be on a regular basis to where they feel comfortable sharing as well. But yeah, that's what we're talking about. Those unspoken messages, those unspoken stories. It's a spiritual thing. It passes from voice to voice.
So I ended up going on a journey. Blessings to you, Sifu, for saying that, man, because this is something I don't think I ever really told you brothers, man. But so this is 2019, man. Right around the time of my dad's birthday. I hadn't been to my dad's grave and since they laid him down. So that was like 12 years. I felt like I failed my father. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he died on my watch. And that just was a weight that I couldn't bear. and a lot of other things that just happened in the times when we were, you know, growing up with him. My pops too was a addict, but a fucking brilliant man. Dude was a genius, bro. Like, oh man, it just makes me sick to my stomach, man. And I look at his addiction now, even having suffering my own, and I go, the demons that drove him to the addiction are were so bad and just so deep for him that he never spoke on, at least not with me. I don't know anybody who really understood what he was going through, just the weight he was bearing. Great baseball player, missed his shot at playing baseball, watched his friends go pro. Incredible academic, you know what I'm saying, ended up working in construction, you know what I'm saying, not able to use that gifted mind. You know, ended up divorced, having to, you know, raise me and my brother on his own, had an older sister I didn't know about. Like they were demons, you know what I'm saying? And whatever, you know, his outlet was crack cocaine. That was just his thing. And when I looked at it, I hated it. It made me so ashamed. It made me so upset. But it carried a lot of weight over me because this is my hero. I mean, there was no one above my father in my life, period. That dude was my hero. And when I went to his grave, I kid you not, bro, I went and cleaned off all my ancestors' headstones, you know, moved all the dirt, like brushed all the debris, every last one of them, all the way down the line. And when I stopped and turned and got in front of my father's grave, my father was standing there. His silhouette was there. And he said, Brandon, let that shit go. And I just bust out in tears. I just, oh man, it was the biggest release of my life. And every single day after that day, like I've been like having to reflect. I've been having to get in the mirror like, yo, you've been really carrying a lot of weight over the years, not just on your back and your stomach, like, you know, on your spirit, homie. Like, you've been really carrying a lot of weight unnecessarily.
But see, if I can interrupt you for just a second.
Sure.
The reason you were carrying that, see, family structure for us has always been extremely important. And we have two sides to that. We've always had a patriarchal side, but then unique to Africans and Native Americans was the role of the matriarchal side. And the truths that we need to hear most of the time comes from the matriarchal side. You know, the patriarch, he the one that's going to tell you, you know, pull out the pee-pee, cut off the tip of it. You know, sit still while I, you know, tattoo this alligator pattern across your back. Man, that shit hurts, the stuff he puts you through. The matriarch, on the other hand, she's going to give you the spirit of your family. And most of the time, because of the personality that she is, she's going to give you the good side and the bad side. You know, I had one of these conversations with my mom not long ago. You know, I was like you, carrying stuff around. But doing what I do for a living, I'm sitting here talking to a client, and every word coming out my mouth is smacking me in my own face. You know, so I get on the highway and it's an hour back to town. So I'm driving on the highway this whole time, and all this stuff is weighing on me, the stuff that I hear coming out my own mouth. So I had to pull over because I couldn't see no more. You know? So I had the conversation with her, and she was like, look, number one, I hope you don't think you're going to go over to that man and tell him any of this, because he ain't going to hear it. Number one, he's too close to the grave. Number two, he's going to come up and fight you, because now you're trying to tell him what he has told you about himself is a lie. Catch that. Catch that. He's going to fight you now, because you're telling him what he taught you about himself is a lie. Who do you think you are to tear down the idol he built of himself for his family? She said, but if you want to sit here with me when we go through all of this and I explain to you how this happened, why that happened, what to do, we can do that. Is that what you want? So it took me a minute. And she said, well, the fact that you hadn't got up and left the chair yet tells me that that's what you want. So here we go.
You know? Right.
Yeah. So It's those mothers. It's our mothers. The patriarch does one side of it. It's the mothers that do the other side.
Definitely.
Unspoken truths, both good and bad. We got to speak.
I appreciate that perspective, Sifu, man. So that actually kind of brings us to the segue, man, because another part of what the brother was sharing with me, man, and this part is kind of what helped it tie it together for me, like put a lace on it for me. He said, now everything that they went through, all that karmic backlash, all the things they didn't get right, part of your life's destiny is to correct that. You out here thinking that you know what I'm saying, you running around free, or you said it, Dirty said it, Sifu said it, everybody said it. You think you're in this cycle because your family put you here. Yeah, that's true. But your job is to break the cycle. Not be like the family member, not fall down the same trap. It's like, you know what I'm saying? They spent their entire lives. You watched them and it's like, okay, there's a hole right there. Obviously, I know crack cocaine is a terrible thing. You know what I'm saying? The demons behind the crack were even worse. So I know, number one, I can't hold in my internal demons too much anymore. It's going to break me down at some point. And last but not least, I know that the outlet for me possibly is going to be being addicted to a substance, something to help me cope with my demons. So if I see the hole, hey, man, it's my fault if I fall in. And you want to be mad at your ancestors, you want to be upset with them, but you don't realize that they're paving the way for you to be better. And when he said that to me, I'm like, I'm in the chair like, oh, wait a minute now, I'm floating out here, boy. That was way too heavy, boy. That was a lot of weight you just put on me. He was like, a lot of people, like you said, Sifu, they're not ready for that conversation. They want to be mad. They want to hold on to the hatred, the pain, what you did to me, what you didn't do to me. And we all feel that way. But the truth of the matter is, it's the forefront for you now to be better. That's your jumping off point. Where they ended is your point to take it further, if you choose to. And I was just sitting there, just listening to him. I was just like, man, boy, that one right there is something I always wanted to run away from everything that whole experience represented. I was like, I'm going to be the exact opposite. I'm not carrying none of that weight with me. And the whole time I did that, subconsciously, I'm carrying the weight. I'm carrying the guilt. I'm running away because of the weight of that responsibility.
How do you get that message across to a group of people that, like Dirty said, they take away the good part and feed you the bad part? To a group of people that was fed the lie that in order for you to cope with your illnesses, you got to drug yourself to get by. How do you get that message through? Because all of us have a drug of choice, and we're taught that's normal.
Definitely.
In fact, if you stand as one in a crowd saying, nah, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do that, the rest of the crowd going to turn at you, all right, then you need to find the door. You ain't welcome here no more.
So for me, I can't necessarily say that every member of the family is going to be receptive to, like, I don't even like having this conversation with very tight members of my family because it's spookism to them. You know what I'm saying? They hardcore, Bible, church, this is spookism. You know what I'm saying? We can't have these conversations. But for the ones who are receptive to it, they say the same thing Dorian says. Like, I feel them with me every single day. I dream about my dad and my grandma. My grandma passed 2018, and 10 years after my dad. And when she passed, it was like my dad passing all over again. Like, this woman was, my mom's mom was, man, I can't even put it into words how important she was.
Okay. So let me introduce another wrinkle.
Okay.
I dare say this because Well, I hope the wrong people don't hear this video, man.
Hey man, this is what this is for, bro.
I swear I hope the wrong people don't hear this video. What do you say to a person who genealogically cannot trace to something worthwhile? If I look down the tree, right, that bad boy got maggots and knotholes all in it. All right. And there's only one branch of this bad boy that goes off like that to the side that I can get with them. But, right, there's a huge but. So historically, I can track on this side. But if I climb this tree a little too deep, man, I'm gonna come away with all kinds of fleas and ticks, all kind of stuff that, you know what I'm saying? So what am I looking at? What ancestors? What? I'm gonna have to go across seas to a continent that I have not identified anybody there that belongs to me. So what? The only stories that I can tell me come from this land right here, which means it's something I have to adopt. And in that adaptation, do they belong to me? Am I feeding myself a whole nother lie? I don't know.
All right, quick here, man. It is. So I can't answer that question. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to attempt to answer that question, which is why I'm mad Baba ain't on the phone. Okay. Let me tell you why. Because I had that same, kind of, I'm like, look, Baba, as far as I can trace back, I'm more native than I am African, just in lineage, on both sides of my family. I'm Yamasee Cherokee on my father's side, and I am Cherokee on my mother's side. The other side of the family, my grandmother's side of the family, that's what they'll listen to me, man. I mean, straight up murderers. Like one of my grandmother's people was a hitman for Rayford Austin. So in DC, like legit, you know what I'm saying? So, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you go down to a family tree, oh, that's a gangster, like a real live gangster. That is, and he said it like this. He said, that's your heritage. That's in you. You can't run from that. And if that ancestor needs to be revealed and worshiped and honored, you have to do that. Because that's a part of, he said that's the biggest thing with people who are born here is that they'll find a white guy in their tree and be like, oh, no, I'm not fucking with that white guy. He was oppressive. Have you never been oppressive? Have you never? He's a victim of his time. And in his time, he was doing exactly what he needed to do to survive, just like you. Your morals are compromised every day. If your job was like, look here, buddy, I know coronavirus is going on, but you got two choices. You're going to either show up and possibly infect your family with coronavirus, or you're going to get fired and stand in the unemployment line and possibly infect your family with coronavirus. You don't have a choice. And he said, so don't ever pay attention to the things that people did in their time frame as necessarily bad. That was their time. You can be mad at a slave master. Of course, what he did was cruel. In his time and in his era, he was doing what the law allowed him to do. In his mind, he was doing the right thing. And I don't know if I'm necessarily on that level, but I am to the point where I can easily call myself a hypocrite. Like my great grandchildren can look at some of the things I've done and be like, what the hell did you do that? Well, you haven't been through some of my experiences. You didn't grow up in my era. You didn't live during my time. So it's not going to make much sense to you 3 generations from now. You're not going to understand that some of the things that I've done. But in my era, trust me, I am living the best that I can with the tools that I've been given. And that's what you don't understand about ancestry. That's what he's this is his message to me. Now I'm just telling you.
That kind of goes back to like, you gotta like forgive your parents for stuff. Like they was doing the best they could. And you kind of like, man, like why y'all was doing all this dumbass shit? Like,
That's what he was basically saying, bro. That's what he's basically saying. And he says that's the part that stops you from truly connect. He said your ancestors start falling out of the sky. They'll find you. But they want somebody who's not going to judge them, just like you don't want judgment. And they want somebody who's going to give them honor and reverence for what they did, because yet and still, if they don't do what they do, you're not born. You can hate it as much as you want to hate it. Hold on right quick. Let me usher the ladies out of the door real quick. I'll be right back, yo.
Back. What up with y'all, man? What's going on tonight?
What's happening?
Sounding pretty good. Sounding pretty good.
What's up, baby?
What's up, Sifu? How you feeling?
Hey.
I'm catching the end of some flames. I done jumped into the fire.
Yeah, yo, he was telling us it was supposed to be a little bit better, yo. It was supposed to be another guy that he had connected with that like brought on this conversation, yo. So as you saw, it's about generational curses, but he was also talking about like giving reverence to our ancestors.
No question. No question. I only have a juxtaposition on where the fuck my camera? Hold on. I'm true and living. Hold on. Yeah. So one thing I probably would add is that that term generational curse, it's like we talking about programming mentality. So yeah, I'm gonna deal with being Black, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? I'm gonna deal with what comes with that. But to go heavy into a curse, you got to really start to just read for yourself and figure out what that actually means. And so for me, from the research that I deal with, it's like this, man. It's when you understand your mind, you understand programming. So you have innate power within you to go ahead and proceed how you need to proceed. Now, the predicament you might be in, like he touched on, like your parents, like you just did, Trey, perfect. That it all aligns with that. Now, me also being Black, on another note, I can also flip it and look at it like this. We could say a fucking injustice. Fuck a generational curse. We could say a fucking injustice is being played on your ass. Yeah, they doing, it's motherfucker, they wilding and doing magic tricks. Same shit they learned from your ass. Jews cut chickens, they gets it in. They cutting them chickens. You heard? Right. So I get what we're saying, but this goes to another thing, man. Like, bro, this going into knowing what the fuck you talking about, really. And that's why we actually do these things. So we can know more about what we dealing with and what the fuck we talking about. Generational curse. Okay, that's so vague. It's so blanket. It's like your family could have beef with another family. What's them motherfuckers?
Hatfields and McCoys. I know where you
come on. And I work with a motherfucking Hatfield. I work with one of them.
My stepdad related to the McCoys. You know,
I work with one of them motherfuckers, man. She told me a whole story on how her son do this with weed and do this to that, and then tried to write me up for smelling like weed. And I ain't even smoked that time. I was in the car on my way, but my ride, I said, man, my fucking car fucked up. Boom, man. He gave me a ride. He was blowing it down. I ain't even blow it down, but she could smell. But I'm like, yo, you just told me that. I said, yo, y'all ill. And then Kylie, you said one more thing, and I'm gonna kick it back because I'm just getting in late. What the fuck did you say, bro? You said the parents. Trey jumped in. I lost it. It's gonna come back. Don't worry about it. But yeah, you know, knowing what we talking about, because that it can go into so many different directions with that. But hey, man, we dealing with programming, man. And yeah, they got some programs for our ass because they copying and doing shit. You know, they learn everything from us. They apply the science against us. But it's a mentality of your programming. You now you move forward. All that shit with your pops or whatever, however, You got to move forward with that. That's a part of it. When you said that shit about your father's that's what it was. Like, you got to get to a certain point, and that's where that whole, these light workers, they call it healing and chakras. That's just your emotional body. It's just what you got to deal with. Pops was drinking like a motherfucker, da-da-da-da, but he was like this. I just did a funeral, my second funeral I've been to, and the shit was on Zoom. Only funeral I laid a lot of people to rest, but I only been to my grandmother's funeral, and I put her away by myself. I kissed her forehead, 32 below, brick ice cold, and said, my grandmama not in there. This other virtual funeral that we did was for my aunt and how she moved and da-da-da-da. And my cousin, even her first son, he older than me and brought me game. He had to call me because he know I deal with spiritual shit. He like, bro, I said, nah, it ain't about none of that. When you do this thing, you mute when they start going left. No, this is about sending her on what she did right or whatever. That's our humanity and that's our spirit. That's our godhood. So you a God in a physical form. You're going to come with the flaws. You're going to come with this. You're going to come with all of that. But it was time to put her away. It wasn't about how she moved in the street. It was about, man, Aunt Jackie, she going to style. When Aunt Jackie take you to get some shoes, she going to get you the ones you want, because that's a part that feeds into your part of your desire. Why am I talking about that? What the fuck you talking about shoes for? How? No, it's an apparatus in your brain that you're getting what you want. She represented the energy of get what you want. Yeah. You need that in your process.
Right.
So you break these things down. I'm about to kick it back, Khalid. No, you break these things down, but you touched on a lot of stuff. I know I'm just jumping in, but I just happen to put somebody up and send them up. And I know what that's about when you take my mama said this is my mama quote, and I'm gonna kick it. You take the good and you leave the bad. That's what you gotta do. So you part terrestrial, you part man, and you part celestial. That's really what this conversation is about. It's gonna happen on that level, and it's gonna play out in the physical. And so a lot of the things that we saying is what was generational curse. It's actually a motherfucking social injustice that this motherfucker is doing to your ass. And by that motherfucker, I'm talking about your certain European descents. May not be all of them. May not be all of them.
You gotta talk about
certain
brothers. You gotta talk about certain Hindus. You gotta talk about, this power system is, it go beyond color, man.
It go all kinds of ways, bro, when you dig into it. It blew me away my first time in Brooklyn, going into the Chinese spot and seeing a halal Chinese spot with pictures of Mecca. I'm like, damn, okay. They see me. Why Salam, my brother, they treated me like, but then I went to Chinatown and I just needed to use the bathroom because I was on some hood, the little bus that go from VA to, and you could just hop on that little $20, $30, whatever that bus was.
Yeah.
Man, I'm outside, and the Chinese run those buses.
Oh, yeah.
They run those buses. You know what I'm saying? Which we supposed to be having them in North Carolina. We got to do that whole Black Walk, man, and then North Carolina, because dude had a bus system. Anyway, man, I just need to use the bathroom and get back to my bus. The motherfuckers was in the restaurant was closed. Their family was in there eating. They was looking. Man, they was giving me that look. They was giving me that, like, what's on your hip? What time is it? What's popping with you? They gave me that look. I'm like, oh shit, they warm up in this motherfucker. I was like, all right, man. You know what I mean? I had to recognize where I was at. I didn't know if Bruce was gonna come out the side or whatever, some other type shit. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Khalid. I'm gonna let you cook, man. I had to jump on with my brothers. Had to jump in real quick. I heard some fire going on, so I had to just jump in.
I appreciate that,
Peace
man.
to the gods. Peace to y'all. I'm gonna go back on mute.
So, I mean, first of all, matter of fact, let's make the transition then. You know what I'm saying? That's actually a good point. So, the generational curse conversation, right? And you look at, most people are like my mom and my dad. You know what I'm saying? Uncles, aunts, you know what I'm saying? The people that are closest to you. You look at the activities, good habits, bad habits, the things you picked up from them, the mannerisms that you have, all that good stuff. that is ground zero for you. That's just a basic foundation. You know what I'm saying? You do not have to carry any of that shit forward with you that you don't like. Anything that's not serving you, you do not have to carry that with you. What has happened to our people, we've been indoctrinated into carrying bad tradition. Like our whole thing is, look, this is how Big Mama cooked it. I'ma cook it. Big Mama died of diabetes, my nigga, like high blood pressure. Big Mama had a fucking heart attack. Big Mama died out this bitch, homie. Like, let's kind of, let's think about that.
Man.
No, I'm not gonna dishonor my mama.
Man, boy, hold up, dog.
I'm putting the pork in the greens. I don't care.
Hold up, dog. Hold up, bro. You gotta do things in moderation, because part of respecting your ancestors and honoring your ancestors, you gotta cook a little something like Big Mama, dog. Because there's a reason Big Mama was cooking it like that, because it was going off. And
That's
you know it was ringing out in here.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. She was cooking with what she had, which was the traditions of people who didn't have much, but knew how to make it taste good. Now, here's the difference. If you were born in the middle of the Sudan, you know what I'm saying? Big Mama is cooking rice and beans, nigga. That's it. Rice and beans. That's all they have. And they know how to cook it with certain seasonings. You loving it. It's delicious to you. If you're in another part of the country, if you're in Brazil, you probably eating, lentils and beans. You know what I'm saying? Like you barely survive. You scrape. Your family tradition and the way you eat is just a product of what people were eating before you. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But if you see that tradition affecting your health and the health of the people who were eating it, at some point you got to go, you know what? I'm gonna still cook the greens, but I may just use like olive oil and a little bit of chicken broth or something like that every now and again. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still do it, but I can't do it the way they did it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody look, I hear them, everybody like, I wish I could just get it to taste like grandma. Well, you gotta cook half a hog in the damn greens to get it to taste like grandma. I understand what you're saying, but come on, baby, like that's, those certain things are supposed to be broken. You know what I'm saying? Like we have been so indoctrinated to family tradition that we'll die doing bad shit just to keep the tradition. It's mind-blowing to me. It is mind-blowing to me. There's a tradition in my family for the longest. New Year's Eve, all the men go out and crack a bottle. I don't like to drink. I ain't never really been a drinker. So I was like, teetering on the tradition. People was like, oh, what the fuck are you doing, son? You supposed to have a bottle, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to be getting right with us. I'm like, I'm gonna change the tradition of blowing some loud or something. You know, and they're like, nah. The tradition is you supposed to have a bottle. I'm like, well, I don't really like to drink like that. So, for a while, the boys was like, you want some pussy shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? The boys like looking at me like I'm suspect or some shit because I didn't want to drink with them. And those are the type of things that when you look at just the foundation, that's your foundation. Like, those are the things you were just born into. Those are traditions that were passed down from your elders. Those are the ones that you see. The problem I think that, you have with breaking those curses is just, like you said, Trey, is just like, yo, I can't do it right now. I want the pig feet, nigga. It's delicious. I'll do it, you know what I'm saying, next year. I'll do it. My kids could probably just bury me and then they can eat healthy. I'm not eating healthy. There was a study that was done in 2007 with people who were from our ethnic hue and who were poorly eating. And it was 10 people, and the doctor told them, look, everything that's wrong with you is diet, homie. We can go through all these tests, you can make up all these excuses. It's really your diet. If you just change your diet, you're gonna live. If you don't, you're gonna die. And it's just that simple. 8 of the 10 people died because they wouldn't change their diet. 80% of that test group said, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? DMX on Azana Fix My Life. Put me in the casket, nigga. I'm not gonna stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wow. So to the question you asked earlier, Sifu, I think that's why you know, most of us don't really necessarily want to dig, you know, any deeper because hell, we can't even break the curses we've been given. How can I break my grandmama's curses? Hell, I can't even break my own. I can't even break the one my mama gave me.
Well, see, so let's be specific about which curse we're talking about, okay? Because
Sure.
the food thing, like I had one client put it to me this way, and this young lady, extremely brilliant. She's a doctor of mathematics. She works right there. She works right there at the high school. I ain't gonna say which high school because I don't want to put a business out. But she's carrying some weight. She's a beautiful sister, carrying a whole lot more weight than she should be carrying. And she put it to me this way. She said, "Look here, I'm black. I ain't supposed to live past 68 anyway."
Yeah.
Damn. What
Now
the fuck?
That's a defeated
Well, damn.
mindset right there.
It is, but statistically, it's a reality.
So yeah, are we not supposed to live past 68 because we eating like how we eating though?
Or are we eating like we eating because we ain't gonna live past 68 anyway?
Now, I mean, you want to get paradoxical,
Right?
You know what I'm saying? I don't want a paradox.
My laugh was delayed. I was on mute. Holy shit.
I mean, you might as well say the black motto is, "Bitch, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time."
That's exactly what she said.
That's it. You know,
I'm gonna enjoy myself while I'm on this motherfucker.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying
She
myself.
probably also don't believe she's gonna ever pay back her student loan. She's like, whatever.
That mortgage debt going in the grave with me, bitch. I ain't giving you crackers. Shit, I'm dying.
Yo, shit is so real. My granddaddy was eating coon and shit. I feel like I'm all right. I'm good. Just buying that.
Get that shit back in blood.
Yo, that's crazy, yo. My dad cooked a raccoon one day and we ate it, and that bitch was delicious, yo. I'm sorry, yo. My dad stewed the hell out that raccoon, straight up.
Yo, Kyle, get the fuck out of here, son. Get the fuck out of here.
Yo, I swear to God, son, my father, that's how I know we native. Yo, my father, every time my father hit something on the side of the road, that bitch was coming home and it was going in the oven.
Wow, this nigga's ill. He a legend. He a legend.
That is some legendary shit.
So many days off that nigga radiator and cooked them shits, yo.
Oh man, yo, that's what hitting a deer though. Like hitting a deer and going home and cooking it, bro. I can understand that, but
son, he's straight medulla. He's straight primate, son. He's straight in the back.
He was
ancient.
Straight from the land. Homie. Like, we do not disrespect the offering and the sacrifice of this animal's life, buddy. This motherfucker is getting eaten. Yeah, he smacked the hell out of raccoon. That shit was big as hell too. That shit was big. And he was like, oh yeah. He was just looking at in his mind. I'm looking at the raccoon in total terror. And he cut it off and put tape around the tail. He's like, here you go. Play, Daniel Boone, Rocky Bullwinkle. You know what I'm saying? He was like, play with the tail and shit. I was like, oh shit. So I took the tail, I started playing with it. I was like, all right, well, this might not be so bad. And he just sitting there looking at it like, yeah, I'm gonna smother it in onions. I'm gonna stew it. Like, he just looking at the shit that still got the fur on and everything. He just looking at how he gonna cook it. I'm like, this cat was crazy, son. Straight through that bad boy in a pot with tomatoes, peppers, and some very big white onions and some potatoes, and stewed the hell out of that raccoon. And let me tell you, bro, that shit was slamming. The only thing that happened is he was like, I remember this shit. I'll never forget it. Y'all, wish my brother was on right now. He's in there, right? So he takes off a little bit with the fork. Oh, yeah, damn, that's right there. Then he takes a spoon, it hits the gravy. He was like, oh, yeah, you got to put the gravy. Oh, yeah, boy, I done cooked. Oh, yeah, I done cooked him. And he's like, you know what? It just needs he said, you know what? It just needs a little more pepper. He went and tapped the pepper on it. That shit opened up and spilled. He's like, the coon. And I remember him I remember him wetting the napkin and so carefully, like trying to lift the pepper off the damn raccoon, right? So for the next 2 days straight, we ate spicy raccoon. I lied to you not, yo. It was delicious, though. Oh my God, it was delicious. The only part
Hell no.
right in the center. And I'm telling this story today, yo, because like I was ashamed to tell that story. Like a lot of, man, I wouldn't tell nobody I ate no damn raccoon. But you know, in the honor of your ancestors, man, that's like, yo, that's part of the journey. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, the way things going, we might be eating some raccoon pretty soon.
Share
man.
that recipe, homie.
Listen to me. I can tell you right now. And to your point, I started studying the market 3 years ago, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm just looking at the economy itself, the over borrowing, the inflation, and I'm going, woo, boy, it may be time to take whatever you have, buy the biggest plot of farmland you can, the furthest away you can from the current mainstream and interstates, and hunker down, buddy. This shit look like it. I think we're witnessing the fall of America.
Oh yeah.
Right now in our lifetime.
Something going down. Something going down. I don't know what, but I know one thing, they trying to squeeze us out. Black people, they trying to squeeze us out of everything, man. The rent down here done got so high. It's like last year was $1,300 for a 2-bedroom. Now it's $1,500, $1,600 for a 2-bedroom. And I'm not even in Atlanta in the city limits. I'm on the outside, on the outskirts.
I heard it blew up in Atlanta, yo. I heard rent prices done like went up like $500 in the city of Atlanta, dog. Like
I'm wiping my eyes. Man. I'm just like, ooh, Lord.
Man, it's crazy, man. They trying to squeeze people out. Like, I'm lucky I got a job through this COVID, man. I done seen so many people in this apartment get put out over the last 2 months. It's ridiculous.
They putting people out in the apartment, bro. Didn't they extend the
Man, some of these places, they ain't following by them rules. It's like the state let the people do whatever they want. These corporations, they let them do whatever they want to do. So
I know Georgia like get that shit in blood, bro. Like if y'all need to go get them people out so y'all can get paid, then by all means let them out. Give a damn what the feds say.
Yeah.
Federal government can't stop my money.
That's fucked up, yo.
If they got somebody that got money that's still working right now and can pay the rent, they moving them in, they kicking your ass out. That's just it's a dirty game out here, man, and it's getting dirtier. And like he said about the food, the food thing, you know, we do things like that because I think some of us are suicidal, man. Some of us we already defeated. A lot of us don't even feel like picking up this fight and continuing with it, man. We already like, hey, you know, I'ma just vote and I'ma just sit down and hopefully everything go. Man, this is a game of survival right now, man. You witnessing, like, you see these Asian people talking about black people are racist against Asians. When you ever seen that before? You know, when you ever seen a black person do something racist to an Asian that they hadn't done before to us? We went in the store shopping with them and they say, hurry up and buy, you know? And I'm not trying to, you know, piss anybody off or anything, but I mean, reality is reality. Like, black people aren't racist against anyone, to be honest. We always accepting everyone. But I know that's off on a tangent, but you know, like this is the game of survival right now, and we got to get rid of that defeated mindset. We got to get out here. You know, it ain't no more excuses. Just get this paper, get your money, get your ammo, whatever you need, your food, get your family straight, get your mind straight, and discipline. Because the most disciplined man on the planet right now is a white man.
Oh, that's man, the most disciplined man. I want to come in right there. Because you said discipline. I think you said Shorty was suicidal when she was talking about that food stuff. And I think it's just a lack of discipline, dog. I really feel, because I'm a personal trainer and I be talking to people about that kind of stuff. Like, be like talking to them about diet and that sort of stuff, and they just don't have the discipline, bro. Like, she had the discipline to go get her doctorate of mathematics because it had a finite time on it. It's like, all right, I got to be disciplined for this amount of time. But tell somebody to change their diet, and they're like, man, I got to do this jump for the rest of my life. And you talking about that? Now I'm gonna live to be 84. I'm 34 now, so I got 50 more years of doing this. And they like, nah, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to feel that. So, you know, like,
give me that casket, baby. I'd rather have cream puffs in the casket. You know what I'm saying? I'll be damned.
That's what it is, yo. It ain't they suicidal. They just don't, it's not an immediate enough gratification for them. They've never felt good enough to understand what it feels like. Because even when you go, like Khaled, you're a vegetarian now, vegan right now. You go back to eating meat, bro, you're gonna feel terrible. And just because you don't have no idea, we all eat meat now, and we like, man, like this is our baseline, is normal. But to you, it's like, man, like my body not processing this junk the same, yo. Like this is how I feel on meat. Like you just don't like it, and she's never felt that feeling before. I know Sifu wanted to jump in about something about when you said that Black people are all accepting. Sifu, what you got on that?
No, I was saying that we're not all accepted because we discriminate against ourselves. We are next to that pale face something or other. We are the next group to be most antagonistic and discriminatory towards our own. We're the ones. That is the reason. That is the reason why we are still in the situation that we're in right now, because we do not trust ourselves. Exactly. We do not trust. I don't trust the me that I see in you. And that's the bottom line. When I see you coming, I'm looking at my shady ass coming at me, so I don't trust that nigga.
Yo, and that's the fuck. Damn, I was dirty.
But man, no, I don't think it's that.
Bro,
I don't think it's
Dirty could have heard that shit.
Trust nobody.
Dirty would have been crying.
I think you don't trust nobody, yo. I don't think it's just necessarily another Black person you see coming, because you don't trust that white man either, yo. Because you know that you just don't trust nobody because you done burnt.
When it comes to that white man, I know the if I can get him alone, he's concerned with one color, and that's green. But when it comes to my brother walking towards me, I know he's concerned with green, but he's more concerned with the green in my pocket than he is in the green in his pocket. So he would do everything he would do everything he can to make himself feel better by taking the green out of my pocket instead of standing next to me and us putting green in each other's pocket.
Hey, excuse me, fellas. I had this phone on the charger, but the battery been killing it. So I'm gonna try to get my other setup straight, and I'm gonna hop right back in.
You good, family? I'll let you back in.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the thought that I had about that. But as far as the young lady, her biggest problem wasn't so much that she believed or didn't believe she could lose the weight. Her biggest issue was the fear of failing at it. And the fear of failing at it was self-fulfilling. Because she was afraid she would fail, she never tried. Or she would try up to a point where she felt on the threshold of some kind of change. And because she didn't want to be disappointed with failure, she would back off the throttle. And I could always tell when it would happen because she couldn't make it past the McDonald's sitting on the corner. She would pull in. I mean, she had to grab and then she would pull it. And one day I stopped her going into school and I surprised her. I caught her when she was going in. I said, okay, stop truck, open the truck. So I took the candy out the glove compartment. I took the candies out the armrest. I took the bags of Halloween surplus out from under the back seat.
Damn.
Opened the back. You know, the tire wells in the back of the SUV, I opened those up, took the fun size Butterfingers out of those on one side.
Son, she was on it like that, son? Was she diabetic? What the fuck?
No, she wasn't. But for some people, having something to eat is that self-assurance.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, she got some demons, boy.
That's the vice. That's the vice. I got
That's the vice. That was
vice.
It could be the coping mechanism.
Yeah.
That's what the vice is. Yes. Shadow work. Yeah.
Right.
I got my vices. You know, I like to sit when I get on here when I get to my Sunday, I didn't put my shit. I looked at my 80. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at my. But yeah, we all have that. We all have that something. It's ill how that works. Because when you get into spiritual work, guess what? they say when they pass, that's the shit you're supposed to feed they monkey asses.
But the
Just saying. It get ill. See that?
Haas is
You
wrong.
see that?
Yeah, Haas is just wrong. Haas is just
Yeah,
wrong.
Hogs raw as hell, right? The
Haas is
motherfucker
wrong.
says ancestors get fed, whatever they
Damn.
like in their current life, they monkey
Look. When she passed, throw a Butterfinger on there. I'm just saying. That's how it
wow.
Oh, yo, you
Man, that's how it
cold, son. Oh.
She don't want no flowers, huh? How she want Butterfingers?
She'll be right there for whatever her positive side was that she does. You can deal with that energy.
She gonna come from the spirit realm for the Butterfinger. Yo, you crazy, son. Yo,
Just saying. If she ill with numbers, she ill with that math, or whatever her gift was.
2 Butterfingers, huh? Multiply.
Butterfinger. Boom.
I ain't fucking with you, son.
Saying.
Hey, yo, like, oh my God.
Where we at with it?
But yeah, so with her thing, the other thing is there were some unspoken truths in there that she never felt comfortable getting to.
I think that's a generational curse though, because I don't think her parents or her people made her like understand the importance of that, or like just even taught you any form of discipline. Because I feel like if you have discipline in one realm, then you have discipline in others. So even though she had discipline or like had enough whatever it was in order for her to go get her doctorate of mathematics, she can't transfer that to this other thing. And I think that's an issue and that's a problem. I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but like, man, like I feel like maybe she just doesn't understand like how to transfer it. Because I feel like if you can be hard-headed about one thing, you can be hard-headed about anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
The ill shit is that we not.
Brilliant.
The ill shit is that we not gonna ever really know some of that. You know, some people alchemy is to come here and to do what it is that they doing, or else it wouldn't be what it is. You know, some people, and this where these different theories of, you know, energy transferring, it don't go nowhere. So then you can get into coming back, cycles of life and all of that type of stuff. If you open that up from that perspective of that theory, then it's like, you know, you came through to do that part. And then you learn, sometimes you don't know that there's ideologies that say like this plane that we on is a school type of a thing where you learn and you grow, and all these things that we're saying as a dynamic is inclination to go to raise up. And that's just something that if we say generational curse, is when you look at it, we're talking like programming, you know? So it's, you're gonna relay the program. You have to get to a place where you're ready to change the program. And for some people, I can't put words to it. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes it life. That's what makes it what it is. And some people don't see that until they may go through a couple cycles of this so they can raise it up to something else, man. So some of this stuff, basically, I'm just trying to implore the fact that some of this stuff that we talk about, fellas, some of these parts of this equation, we're not gonna have the answer to. Definitely. Or the answer is exactly what the fuck they acting out. They gotta hit their head this time so then they can rise, or you gotta go through that transformation so you can rise. If you're not even up to go through that transformation, then it could be shit. You're gonna go through it anyway. It's like you can go through it kicking and screaming. You know what I mean? Sifu like, fuck that, I'm gonna call snatches. Give me this. You know what I'm saying? To help with the process, because he had a love for that person. That shows what that is. But as we act out this thing, man.
Yeah.
It gets to that realm of can't call it, you know, when it gets spiritual. And because we know what you put in your body it affects your DNA, it affects your mood, it affects all of these things. And if people can't see these complexities of the game, then they're not at that particular level. It doesn't make them less than or more of than what's composed inside of them. It's just playing itself out. This shit is ill.
Man, look,
So what do we want to do and what do we want to put into it? You know, that's what you can really focus on, man. But Yeah, yo. And it's ill because we talking ancestors and loved ones and shit. So it's man, it's ill. You know, to see somebody close to you, if you was like, yo, if you listen to, because it's like that whole going to the doctor and taking all these pills and all of that versus you know what I mean? Doing your little garden,
Right.
connecting, seeing what's up, get on the computer and you want to look up all this other fly shit, look this up, see what it is. And then make it your way, make it, don't force you to like make a better diet for yourself.
So
don't let them pick it, like empower, like, I don't know, maybe empower it and flip it instead of saying you gotta boom, boom, boom. Cause you wanna.
But how you, to your point though, man, you making really, really valid points, man. And it actually
take it from me because I get to go in and
no. It
I love
actually
y'all.
made me think about something Sifu said earlier, and something that I've heard for a long time just in my walk in spirituality, and that it only takes one. Like your entire family could be misfits, hey, whatever they want to be, hey, the negative of the negative. It only takes you to create a whole nother line in your family tree, to create a whole nother reality for your entire bloodline. It only takes one. And that's something that it's so hard, especially for me. I got a huge love for my family, man, huge. And it took me so long to understand that the weight of family going in the direction of the way they're supposed to be lived, that's their destiny, homie. Like, there's nothing you can do to change that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was supposed to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was difficult for me to relinquish control. Like, I felt like I was in control of every second of every day of every minute of my life because I'm conscious of what I want to get out of life. And I'm conscious of what I want to do to achieve the next step. I know what it's going to take on a physical plane. But as I got deeper and deeper in my spirituality and just studying different levels of it, even things that me and Sifu have rapped about. I remember Sifu said to me one day, he said, everything that is happening to you now and the experiences that you're having right now are supposed to happen, but they're also a sum of your choices. If you choose to do this, you're going down this road and this may happen. And that it's a whole nother reality just by you simply making a choice. And I had to, it took me a minute to breathe on that. It took me about a year before I could really accept that. Cause I'm like, nah, I'm in control. Like, it doesn't matter what branch I take. I'm controlling the outcomes. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I go to school, I'm gonna be able to do this and do this. And he's like, well, you could be on your way to school one day and get hit by a bus. That's it. It's over with. Is that within your control? Did you anticipate that? Is that something that he was just kind of helping me understand that it's okay to not be in control every minute, every second, every day. That's too much pressure for you. That's too much for you to even think about. And that point is where I think my spirituality started to really, go to the next plane, when I was like, all right, there is a higher power. There is something other than me that is definitely guiding me. And if it's not guiding me, it's definitely pushing me. And if it's not pushing me, it's the wind beneath my wings. There is something that is allowing me to move forward with all the pressures, with all the obstacles, with all the closed doors. There's something that's helping me get past that. I have to acknowledge that that is not me. And the moment I did that, I think it was just like a woo-saw for me, man. It's like, it was the biggest stress reliever in my life. I see why Christians be like, yo, I just want to give it all to God. Man, it's a huge weight. But then at the same time, if you flip that pendulum completely in the other direction, then now you've just taken choice and causality completely out of it. You're just led by this mythical, magical being in whatever you do. Yes, I can eat a pork chop and not have to worry about getting fat because, Jesus is going to heal me. No, I don't have to take the medication and go to the hospital even though I'm bleeding profusely because Jesus is going to heal me. Then you can get to the fanaticism of it. And now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you flip to the other pendulum. Like, you're supposed to be in the middle. You're supposed to be, in a median state and in a balance with your spirit and your physical. And that is, man, that's some difficult shit, homie. That's difficult. keeping in balance, yo, with all the obstacles you got out here. Yo, man, listen to me. Inflation is going, yo, gas about to be $3 fucking, son. They ain't inflated my paycheck. My paycheck didn't get altered with inflation. They should have paid me the balance of what they taking out my ass. Nigga, it's insane out here. And I'm supposed to be like, yo, man, I'm out here living on these fucking breadcrumbs and shit, yo, with a family to feed and be spiritual about this shit. Getting one of them ski masks and running up on somebody, yo, that may be a little bit more spiritual. I keep looking at them shits like, yo, I know this nigga robbing niggas in the D at night, yo. He a different flavor every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, he hitting them. So it really, and that part, though, just to kind of talk about it, that's also a part of being able to overcome your past, be able to overcome that history, man. Because I got some interesting history in my family, boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a division on my father's side of the family to where I got cousins and aunts, and I don't even know.
Yo, my aunt, they said one of my aunts, we had statute limitations, but anyway.
Got you.
She was cold-blooded. Cold. Yo, they said she'll walk in the bank. Look, she said, your aunt, she said she could rob a bank with no weapon. She said she used to walk in that motherfucker all red, dipped out, boom, 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 and just go in there and look at them motherfuckers and tell them motherfuckers what she would just tell them what she had in her purse. Doom, doom, doom. Had a little white boys writing checks, all kind of ill shit back in the 80s. This back, you know what I mean? Just cold-blooded shit. Walking in there smooth.
Hey,
like this. Just crazy shit, man.
The way
I get descriptive.
How skewed this game is and how crooked this game is, man. Like, it's long as you don't get caught, it's all fair game out here, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the white man rule. It's legal as long as you don't get caught. The only time it becomes illegal if you get caught doing it. That's it. And yo, when I heard a white dude say that shit to me one day, I was like, now that's deep. That is deep. So, you know, I'm of the mind right now, man, that listening to my ancestors, you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually built a both of them. I got a shrine in my room, white cloth, a piece of furniture that belonged to a family member, you know what I'm saying, or has been in the family for a while. You know, glasses of water, you know what I'm saying, a cross, not to symbolize, you know, anything, you know, tied into any pagan tradition, but the cross is just to symbolize all directions and all points, you know what I'm saying? That's really what it symbolizes. And I actually am now having better dreams. I sleep better. I'm less stressed. I meditate, you know, in front of my Boulder every day, just making sure that I'm strengthening the connection with my ancestors, because that connection is I think has been a big missing part of me. Like, hearing about my family.
You open a vortex.
Studying my family has helped me see more things into me, like learning about my mom's father. My grandfather was, man, I can see now that's who I take after. Now, I am very much like my mom's dad, the way I think, you know, he owned 4 businesses. He was good with his hands. That's the only part I probably didn't take off. I'm okay with my hands. This dude was a master carpenter, you know what I'm saying? Brick mason, whatever, could fix whatever. You know, but at the same time, founded a credit union, him and his brothers. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people, most of the people in the area where my mom is from, their houses, they were Black, their houses were financed through my grandfather's credit union, because that was the only way they could get the money for their houses and their cars during that time. And he used to literally get in the car and drive on Saturday mornings to get the money first thing before they get blowed over the weekend. That way they wouldn't default on their payments. Some of them, he'd go to the club Friday night and collect his payment, because he know the money was going to be blown if he waited to Saturday morning. So, I mean, that level of dedication to, you know, the neighborhood and the people, and I didn't find out about that until I was 28. Our family doesn't necessarily like get spoken about, man. You know, people so hurt that they're gone, and, you know, sometimes, you know, you never really hear about your grandparents the way you should, because your mom and them are still hurt that, you know, they're not here. But it's very, very important to make sure that you have those conversations. And another part of what made me really want to do this is because I actually went to my grandmother's house yesterday. And when I was in her house, my nieces were with me and they were like, oh, she died in the house, I'm afraid. I was like, man, I said, nah, man, you got to understand, this is what she wanted. She wanted to pass in this house. This is where her family was at. This is where her memories were at. This is where some of her children were born. This is her legacy. And when I thought about it, I said, you know what? We're her legacy. You know what I'm saying? We're her bloodline. We are the people who have come after her to carry on her work, her lessons, her blessings. And that tradition should never be forgotten. But yet and still, our people run around loose cannons out here and have no idea about their own family trees and their bloodlines. And that is where I think you start to do a lot of the inner work, or it has helped me do more inner work. Because I can see some of the things that within my family that are within me. And I'm like, okay, here's the good parts that I have to carry on. And here are the things I need to leave right here. I cannot let my children inherit this bullshit. And that's kind of, that's kind of extremely important for me, man. It's been an extremely, uplifting moment to have that kind of connection spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Because I can see now that, okay, here's where I go forward. You know what I'm saying? All before it was mystery. You like, all right, nigga, I'm all right. Grandma's dead, dad's dead and all that. I don't really, know too much. But man, I had a family book come back to me, man, like on my dad's side of the family. But my dad's side of the family is old blood, buddy, old as hell. I mean, before the Civil War traced, like we've been here for a long, long time on my dad's side of the family. On my mom's side of the family, same thing. So looking at that and having a connection with that, I'll be a fool not to want to strengthen that and know more. I remember I had a guy sat down with this white dude. This dude took me back damn near 10 generations of his family, pulled out a book and walked me through his family all the way back to Ireland. So he's like the 10th generation Duke or some shit, like in his family. Like he comes directly from royalty. And I'm just like, man, that's absolutely insane, bro. Like that he was able to do that. And that's something that, as I start to live and breathe and get deeper into, myself and spirituality, that's something that I want to be able to do too for my seeds, to be able to tell them all about their family, as many generations as I can find. So I just kind of, I leave it there to say, sometimes your generational curses have to start with the family first before, we out here fighting these wars, fighting these devils, fighting against other people. But like Sifu said, shit, we really fighting ourselves, and it's literally your own brother. You know what I'm saying? Literally your own cousin, literally your uncle. Like it's in your damn family. You can't even get that fight done. You can't even get unity in your own goddamn household before you get out here and try to fight a war against the world. And that's something that I think we really, really need to kind of address in our community, man. That's why I wanted to have this conversation today.
The only thing that I want to say on this, and this is kind of going back, and I just looked this up, just going back to like High saying about how it is like institutional stuff that happens to us as well. Y'all know the inflation percentage between 1990 and today? Anybody? Y'all got any guesses? How much it is?
1990 today, is it 200%?
It's 100.
It's 100? Okay, gotcha. It's big. I know that much. What is it, 160?
No, it's 100. It's 100 flat.
100% on the head.
It's 100%.
Gotcha.
So it's literally double. So whatever amount of money that we have today in 1990 had double the purchasing power. And man, like salaries ain't increased.
So that means $30,000 in 1990
60 next to be 60.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. That's stanky, ain't it?
Struggling, boy.
That's a mean way to play the game. But
And here's the crazy
you got
thing.
the dice. You got the dice rig.
Trey, I want to thank you for that, because I'm coming home yesterday and I'm thinking about that shit. I'm like, damn, yo. In the 60s and the 70s, my aunts was 25 years old, buying houses, working a job, like supporting themselves, and they had a leg to stand on. A man could be the head of the household, one job, his wife didn't have to work so hard. And I'm like, inflation is a motherfucker. I was saying that shit to myself on the way. I was like, inflation is a motherfucker, boy. Every year inflation goes up. Every single year they inflate this motherfucker, and your money is getting worthless, more and more worthless. And now you can't even support yourself. Hell, you can barely support yourself, let alone your family.
Yo, you want to know what the inflation is from 1960 to now?
Oh man, what is it, bro?
It's 782,000%. I mean, 782%, bro.
You just said what I said, bro.
782%, bro.
Yo,
That's almost 8 times the buying power, dog.
And do you know motherfuckers be looking at your generation like you lazy? Y'all don't get out here and buy no houses. Y'all don't get out here and do nothing for yourself. What?
For the house, bro.
Yo, my money is worth half of your.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
But guess what? The price of houses did. I mean, everything adjusted for inflation except for income.
Except for income, dog.
That same $7 motherfucking an hour they was paying you 25 years ago is the same $7 they paying you today, but it's only worth $3.50.
That's it. That's it, dog.
That's some shit.
That's some shit, boy. And when the last time the federal minimum wage went up, though? That jump went up in the 90s or it went up in the 80s?
Bro, I think it went up in 99 somewhere. No. It just went up again in 99 to $10, $10.70.
Hell no, ain't nobody, people not making $10.70 at minimum wage.
It's supposed to be $10.70.
I know, man. They hiring niggas for $7.25 still, boy. I don't know what you talking about.
Oh,
Nah, D, we can hear you, bro. Say something, Dorian.
Oh, y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you just fine, bro.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Nah.
I just got this webcam, so.
Nah, you coming through clear. Damn, that's crazy, yo. You put that. It's funny, yo, because I was on that wavelength yesterday because I was arguing with a dude about the net present value of money. He was talking about crypto. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yo, crypto is a better investment. I mean, crypto is about the same as cash. I was like, oh, hell no, crypto ain't the same as cash, homeboy. Crypto is an appreciating asset. It gains value over time. Yeah, it can fluctuate, but if you got a stable coin, they increasing every day. If you're looking at your money, it's depreciating every day.
About 3% each year.
First thing I learned in finance classes is no such thing as a free lunch. The second thing I learned was net present value of money. The money 30 years ago is not worth what it is now because of inflation at 4%, 4 to 6% a year.
Yes, sir.
Period. And I was just thinking about that. My wife was like, man, you know what? You know, my parents were able to do this. And now I'm like, baby, I don't know how to have this conversation with you, baby, but you know, it's not really designed for us to make it. You know, do you understand that? Like, it's, you know, if you didn't get rich, it ain't really designed for you just to exist. You know what I'm saying? Like the middle class died in my lifetime. Like in the 90s, the middle class it got squeezed and thrown to the wayside. There was brothers, come on, yo. The Detroit, Indianapolis, man, there was brothers who was moving from the South coming up there and making $100 a year after 2 generations. Your son inherited $160,000 a year because his father and his grandfather worked on that same assembly line. They were in no college education necessary at all, barely high school diplomas, making $160 a year, supporting their families. And once they squashed that, shit, boy, it was downhill from there, buddy.
Yeah.
Downhill from there. They destroyed the middle class. And where the middle class was really thriving at is that you had a huge black middle class in America. And that was the end. And you see our people right now, bro, like the struggle's so real out here, man, that, I mean, you got cats who are leaving Ivy League schools and corporate jobs to go get on farms and shit, yo. It's a mass exodus of brothers and sisters getting out them cities, boy. Like that money ain't stretching like that no more, boy. That money ain't.
The price is going too high for everything.
Listen to me, man. I wanted to move. I looked at the rent in DC. I said, oh shit. Boy, please. You had 10 houses for that in the South. Fuck that. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'll go Airbnb some shit for that. Yo, I get 4 or 5 mortgages at that rate. These cats talking about $3,500 for an apartment. I'm supposed to do that? Boy, I can have 3 houses and 700 acres down here for $3,500 a month.
Yes, Lord.
Can't play them games.
Crackhead games.
Seafood, what you about to say?
I'm saying it's getting late. I got to get up early in the morning.
Matter of fact, what time is it? We done. Oh man, that's crazy, boy. This one went by super quick.
Yeah.
Wow. We done been on here 2 hours almost. Seafood, man, go ahead and lay it down, bro. I'm gonna stay on here another 5 minutes. I'm gonna hop on off.
Well, go ahead and start the rap, Seafood. Give me your thoughts, rap.
I think it's definitely a worthwhile subject to talk about. Definitely something we need to come back to. Those encapsulate, those unspoken truths that we definitely need to make sure that we at least do it for our own. At least do it for our own. All it takes for a tradition to become a tradition is we first got to make it a habit. You know what I mean? A habit becomes a practice. Practice becomes tradition. Tradition loses meaning. Eventually becomes culture. Why you do it? Because my daddy did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we carry it on. And in doing so, we carry the benefit. Because those truths, man. And there's one thing you did say, Khaled, I have to appreciate, and that's true. Coming up in the system the way we did, the way our families did, the way our parents did, the way our parents' parents did, they came up through some rough times where your level of cutthroat had to be serious, to make it to a point where you could stand on your feet, look down the line, and see your children stand on their feet.
Mm-hmm.
So, all things being equal, that might be looked at as like a negative story, but that ain't negative. You know what I mean? Because this man did some serious dirt to get where he is.
Definitely.
And it wasn't called dirt when he did it. So why is it dirt when we do it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So those stories need to be told. And yeah, we all have our demons. We all carry our demons. We all have our vices. We carry those vices. Those vices aside, heck, I don't know. That might have been the only difference between homicide and suicide. That vice.
Facts.
Unspoken truths. They need to be spoken. We need to tell them. We need to tell them. We need to hear them. And do it like it was done way back then. The matriarch tells one story, the patriarch tells another, but we need both sides of that coin. So I appreciate you for bringing this subject, bro. I really do.
Man, I appreciate you for being on and sharing, Seafood, man. I know we all have, extremely, extremely deep-seated, angers, traumas, pains toward family members who did us either wrong, dirty, or maybe even have, influenced us in a way that just like, what the hell was that for? Like, I can't even do anything with this. You know what I'm saying? This is completely unpreparing me for the world that I was facing. And at the same time, being able to be in a spirit of forgiveness to say, look, at that time where they were raised, from their perspective, they were doing the right thing and they were just doing the best. And I'm still here. So they didn't do as bad as I may want to believe,
I might have a twitch in my neck, but
yeah. I got some whelps that never really healed up. But,
you know what I mean?
A
reoccurring nightmare every once in a while. But other than that, I'm still kicking.
Hey man, and getting to that level of forgiveness is kind of where I'm moving now, man, is to really just not only just forgive them, forgive myself, forgive, some of the pain and some of the trauma was caused, and just making sure that I don't start, I get out of the habit of, reacting the same way that they reacted. Like my mother was a fiery, hot-tempered woman when coming up with me. And I know that I have that, it's so quick that if I don't you know, pause and just let you say what you need to say and get out, make sure I understand, you know, I can take things to another level pretty quickly. And I've been really, really working on that over the years. And again, you know, I look at my mother, where she was raised, you know what I'm saying? She's almost in the middle of 10 kids. So I can imagine, you know, just looking at, you know, there had to be somewhere to get some attention and somewhere to make sure you didn't get taken advantage of. And her anger, her fieriness, her temper, her outspokenness, that was probably, you know, her way of coping with, you know, the tradition she was in. She was in the middle of a pretty big pendulum there. So, you know, I have to respect that. So.
Well, fam, I hate to eat and run, but I got to bounce.
Appreciate that, man. Take that melon with you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Peace, people. We'll talk
Peace,
again.
family.
Hey, you know you gotta always start your strong off strong, though. Don't forget that.
Start that strong off strong, but we
Strong
not
strong, because we don't deal no weak.
Deal with no weak. You already know what it is.
Yes, sir. Man, brothers, I am personally, man, like tonight, man, what do you guys get out of the night, man? You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to hear your thoughts.
For me, this brought up a lot, and it made me want to like have like separate conversations on like specific generational curses. So we brought up that one generational curse of like eating, because we talked about like this is how like grandma used to cook it, and like is that discipline, or is that tradition? Is that suicidal? Like I and we brought up a bunch of different perspectives on just that one thing, and I think we can have a conversation about that one thing and like try to either, if we can't get to a consensus, at least bring a lot of different perspectives on it. We could bring up the generational curse of money, and like Dorian brought up like how his family really talk about credit. My family ain't really talk about credit, but like I took a personal finance class and that saved me. You know what I'm saying? So like we could talk about that. I would like for us to like invest time, or maybe invest in like just like one different day where we put a time limit on, like boom, for 45 minutes we're going to talk about eating and diets in the community, the generational curse of that. Boom, 45 minutes we're going to talk about finances within the community. Boom, 45 minutes like we're going to talk about relationships and the generational curses of relationships that we've seen that have been passed down to us. And I think that'd be a fire conversation.
Yeah, we might need to roll out that one real quick. I think that's a good idea, King. Yeah. Let's definitely do that. And
man, if we can get guests, we can get the ladies on here.
Nah, I was gonna say, matter of fact, we even have some people on, like we do the personal finance joint. I may have somebody who, you know, that's all they do is personal finance and helping people dig out, just, you know, just to kind of share some lessons that we all need to know. You know what I'm saying?
That's love.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea, bro. Dorian, what you got, King?
Man, I this is my first time actually kind of doing this, you know, with a group. It's something that I kind of it bring out a different side of me. So, you know, I kind of like I just need to get my stuff together, man. I got this my phone draining the battery down, the webcam. I'm trying to get this stuff straight. So, you know, when I come back next week, it's gonna be better for me, you know, because I like the platform, and I think we need this, man. You know, people need this type of conversation. It kind of we could make a new culture. You know, we talk about the generational curses and stuff, but we could change that with this type of conversation. So I'm with it, man.
Yeah, that's what true.
Yo, that's it. And
yeah.
Boom, boom, Trey, boom, boom, like this, Khaled, like this. When we examine the stuff that we talking about, the different dimensions of this umbrella generational curse, because again, I'm just entertaining that, because I don't really look at it as such. You know what I mean? There's reasons for the shit, but let me get back to it. Boom, 45 minutes of talking about your health and your diet. You in a physical thing or whatever, it's only right to face it and deal with it. By you facing and deal with it, or gaining knowledge upon it, even studying it. Not saying you jump into this diet or what have you, but just by you turning and enlightening yourself and putting light into the darkness of a dark area. That's what you're doing. So by highlighting this area, that area, this area, accumulating knowledge on it, rolling through it, that's the formula. He just said he did this and you got this result. So it's, for me, I'm a rephrase it as programs. Let's look at these programs. It'd be dope to do that. It'd be dope to do that. My man just alluded to, he like, yo, shit, I'm about to get this shit pop. I'm about to get my shit organized. Like, and it's always good to get different angles of whatever we dealing with. So then therefore we can have a different perspective in our arsenal where we can understand these things and open up dialogue. It'll definitely be dope, man. You know, I'm always down for the get down. So, you know, I think, you know, the take, I was in and out. I'm sorry I wasn't really on here, but I know I know this had an underlining spiritual thread going with it. And I'm glad I was able to get on for the time that I was able to get on. But yeah, man, let's look at these programs, because that's what we're doing. Let's look at these programs.
I got one more question for the night before we break though, man. Generationally and just even looking at it, like how many people are comfortable with putting up a shrine to their ancestors in their crib? I'm just kind of curious. Like, is that off the wall? Does it sound nut bucket? Yeah, come on, Haas. Come on, man. That's not fair. You know what I'm saying? That's that.
Look, we don't even
I already know you got your shrines up. You know what I'm saying? You already know you got your shrines up.
Yo, all right. Let me touch this and I'm gonna let it go around. When we speak in ancestors, we just talking DNA. That's what they are. It's your DNA. So the attributes of this person, this family member, this and that, what it means is that no, may not be built like Uncle Chuck. You might not be built like him. But on a DNA level, you can access his energy, his intuitiveness. You can access it. You can use that as a catalyst. Let's not even go spiritual. Let's not even do that. I ain't even gonna do that to you. Your subconscious mind communicate with you how I do. Let's just say you know that your grandfather was a steel worker. Let's just say you know that, right? You can utilize that as a perspective of an approach to the energy. You can use that just to say, my granddad used to fuck with steel. I want to know about it. And guess what? That's a battery in your pack to be, I don't have to be scared about it. I'm gonna take that welding class. You already gonna roll with a different type of pep in your step. That's why
it's already in your blood to do something. You
venerate it. That's why when you create that altar and do these things, you're creating a vortex for the streamline, because it's all about reverence and respect. It's saying, Auntie, you was off the motherfucking chain. And she could talk shit like no other. You gotta, and this is where spirituality invites imagination. You can hit her up, do a meditation, listen to her favorite song, get into a zone, reminisce. And all you're doing is traversing your mind to access a certain energy. And it's in you. You know it's in you because it's your ancestor. So that's why with the spirituality, the ancestor is your doorstep into it. And then you can go outside of that and say, you know what? Ain't none of these niggas graduate from college. Let me put some energy on my altar that's gonna help me get through goddamn college. Or let me put a remembrance. Because you gotta remember, as you are a book written from your ancestors, you also write in your own book. That's where the dynamic come in. You had the power to change your DNA. Hello. You said all it take was one, remember? And then we arrived here. So it's like, and then when we bury them, we speak highly of them. We save all that, man. That motherfucker, when we at the banquet and we kicking it and we in the little circle, man, she was cold when she did this. But when we go up there, we cry. We talk good about them. We talk about the positives of them. So what we dealing with is understanding energies of the positive and the negative form. And Trey, if we can start to deal with these programs, and then you empower, you put what you're trying to do is put the spirituality in the right place. Put that in the right place. Then you could deal with a motherfucker on whatever level that they on, and it relieve, like you said, it relieve yourself. That's where my relief came in once you get into the spiritual, I start getting it, then you'll roll by, you see a motherfucker begging for money, you be like, damn, look at Lazarus. You can see the energies. Then you can operate differently. You can make that decision. You know, you play with your imagination because your imagination taps you into another part of your mind. See, we're going into another show. I'm gonna let it go. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there because the imagination plays a real key part in this. Because when you was a kid, you would take inanimate objects and give them life. And you would swim and fly. And that's a part of accessing a certain thing in your mind. So instead of chasing money, you don't ask for money, you ask for prosperity. And you start getting spiritual. It's gonna come in the form of a nigga give you a free air conditioner. You got to look at this thing on different levels, but we're getting into another spiritual part.
Yo, Haas,
kick it off.
Appreciate
but
you.
My nigga, I had to rock the mic because I was in and out tonight.
Nah, I appreciate you though, homie. Dope perspective, bro. Dope.
All the time, every time.
Yeah, that's heavy. Man, Dorian, Trey, man, you guys putting up any shrines to your ancestors tonight?
So I'm not opposed to it.
Not tonight, man.
I don't have any.
But it's
I'm
okay.
just asking, is it something that you're comfortable doing? Because it took me a while to do that shit. I was very, like, you know, I was.
Oh yeah, man. Like,
I would want to do it in a way that makes sense to me, though.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like, exactly the way that you supposed to do it.
Exactly. That's exactly.
And it ain't even no thing. Like some people that's not spiritual, I walk into their crib and they Christians. And I look over, they got a picture of their grandma, they got 2 candles over there, and it's like boom, boom, boom. And that's all that it is. You already you probably are. A lot of times people that don't have altars, they already got a spiritual place in their crib, but they just made that into a certain area that's like, it could be a windowsill, but you put this and that's where the incense burn, and that's actually it. That's the energy. You get it? So it's not a new thing. You do it naturally anyway, nigga. You African. You know what I mean? Yeah, my nigga. You see how when you learn, bro, the thing about spirituality, when you learn, it's really shit you already doing. That's the whole thing about the shit. You really already be doing it. You got a place where this go, a place where this. That's the orientation of your mind. You're talking about a mentality. So how you orient your mind is how you orient your spirituality, because things happen from the spiritual, the unseen, into the physical. Like your mind is in you. Like, come on, man. Let me cook. Give me 5 minutes. Look, check this out.
So hold on right quick, House. Hold on right quick. So
I got one thing, and I'm gonna really let go.
Like, if you're a Southerner, you know what I'm saying? Most Southern traditions, shit that we just do, like, just by force of nature, is actually really spiritual. Like wiping your feet before you come to somebody's house, just little shit like that. Like that's actually spiritual. You're wiping away the bad energy that you have.
That's it. And see, a lot of shit got monetized with that new age wave. Here that go. Oh, brother, come and pay for this and pay for. You're trying to buy your way back into it when it's really just coming into the knowing of yourself. And here's the thing, though. You do have to do some things. You do. It's not, you can't, okay, you can learn the data, but you have to enact and do something. So you may have to go pay somebody. You may, because some people, you'll come across people that's like, man, I got to do this. And they convinced. See, your mind make it real. This is the paradigm of a curse. When you go to the fortune teller, they're gonna tell you, yeah, you got a curse on you. Or they're gonna come, man, something going, I got a curse. Yeah, you do. Because you programmed yourself to say you have a curse. There's that part of the game. There is. It's what your mental capacity also accepts. You could choose. That's a part of the discipline of choosing to say, or you get there one or two ways. You get there and you say, I don't want this to be like this no more. So you start to equip yourself to understand what that is, and you put yourself on that mission. Niggas is saying, find my life. No, find your life mission. Find your mission. because your mission is going to devote you to secrecy. And that's secrecy is important. You know what secrecy is important? Because secrecy is the key to integrity. And integrity is the key to doing the shit you're supposed to be doing when no niggas is looking. When you in this social age, everybody want to be looked at. But to go quantum, when you look at the particles, you fuck it up. That's why you use your imagination. If you don't think about it, you do a Magic Johnson, no look pass into the quantum. Because when you look at it, the particles is going to boom. But when you look away, they going to do. That's what magic is. You put it in your mind, you wake up to your vision board, you look at what you're trying to do, and you program yourself. Now that we know that there's programs, boom, 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 boom. Your mother was your programmer, now you're grown. Nobody gave you a ceremony that writes a passage to say, now you're the programmer. We're missing those parts. Now you're the programmer. This is key. Now you're the programmer. What are you gonna do now? Some people can't, they don't know that, so they can't step across the threshold for discipline, for these fruits, for the changes. Oh shit, all I gotta do is eat this. Or then you can start to take yourself to another level and be like, you know what? I can eat and enjoy that. Actually, if I do stick to this type of regimen, I can eat my cheesecake then. You see? So it's programming. It's program. Let me ease up. We at the end of the end, but
Nah,
y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all, man. So
I spit that junk now, bro. It really is programming.
Bro, I'm ready to get to these certain realms where we can really start to
yeah,
piece this thing together, and it's just beautiful. And I'm dealing with some stuff too, Khaled. I gotta build with you on some stuff, fellas, and I appreciate y'all patience with me as I go through this. I'm growing. I'm gonna start to have more patience with myself. I got my vices I'm gonna work on, but yo, man, let's do this, man. Let's do this. Let's do this and see what we can do. We got to put some bread up and do something, because also your mentality is what it's not that, yo, it's fake it till you make it to an extent. Yes, fake it, man. Go test drive that car. Go do this. Go propel yourself. Put a motor. You got to be the battery in your own back. That's what it's turning to. And that's scary shit. That's scary. That's scary. And niggas is scared because you've been programmed to be scared of fear. I deal with it. But I'm a skip and scrape. I'm about to buy one more. I think I'm going to buy one more house out here. But hey, it's fucked up. But I know that when I'm in a black city, when shit go down, my odds is better when I'm in a black city. So let me go ahead and get another property. And even if I take my ass to Vegas, I'm gonna rent that bitch out and get me some rice and beans and water. And we gonna rock, my niggas. We gonna rock.
Thanks.
But we gonna keep our kingdom on top of where it's supposed to be at, because ain't nothing too big for the God's shoulders, because that's why we come and doing this alchemy while we here, while we doing it. So that's already wrapped. The same way the energy gonna push towards against us, it's gonna be other forces that's gonna balance that shit out too. So they could be plotting the biggest shit that they want to plot, but it could backfall on them too. You know what I mean? So program your mentality with the right shit for what you want to propel, because your imagination is also going to help you free yourself, because you can invite the different possibility upon yourself. But if you box yourself in, you already going to lose the game, baby. You got to walk in there like, I won, I win, I win. I'm going to die with my sword up either way, flip flop or whoever, tainted, hated, the black god, unknown, not known, whatever. I'm that light. I'm that nigga. You don't think you're that nigga, you're not going to be that nigga. And empower yourself, guys. Empower yourselves. I love y'all, man.
you are the program.
Start it out like that. It went spirit. It had to go spiritual. Sorry, it had to go. It had to do that, because you can't explain it. You can't explain God. You got to experience it. That's it.
You are the programmer, yo.
That's love, bro.
Appreciate that, bro. I do. Closing thoughts for you too.
Thank y'all for letting me speak to y'all, man. I love y'all. Thank you.
Love you too, homie.
To have my brothers to speak to. That's valuable to me. Having y'all ears to listen to me. And I love listening to y'all. I love y'all.
Man, love you too, bro. Man. Appreciate the knowledge, King. Man, closing thoughts from you two brothers for the night, man. Dorian, man, thank you for coming on and being a part of Truth Seekers Temple, man. You are the church podcast, man. You know, let you go first for the night, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on here, man. Like I said, I got get my stuff together because like my internet kind of unstable right now, so it's a little shaky. But I'm trying to hang in there with y'all right now, man. But I'm gonna get this thing straight because I got some fire I want to spit off too. Like y'all ain't heard nothing yet. Y'all ain't heard nothing yet, but you know,
No doubt, God.
I definitely want to be a part of this thing.
Yeah, get in, God. We welcome the realness, man. Because the more people, you know what I mean, share their perspective. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. We add on.
All day. Appreciate you for being on.
Definitely.
Trey,
I like hearing different perspectives too, because I'm a little out there, so you know. But yeah, I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
Yeah, man, we all are. Everybody on here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, ain't nobody in a box out here. You definitely
nigga Khaled, yo, son, you had me dying tonight.
Yo, you definitely in the right place, man. You know what I'm saying? You definitely amongst friends, man. Yo, Trey, what you got for the night, bro? What's your closing thoughts?
Man, like I said, I'm excited for where this is gonna take us, man. I'm happy to have my brother Dorian on because like I said, like me and him really grew up the street from each other, yo. So like just to be able to see the expansion of this and like be able to like spread these thoughts even further and amongst people that like are in my generation now too. Like I'm just excited for the power that we're wielding in this, and like we already say that we are the programming because we always say that we don't do it no week. So start your strong off strong. Like that's the mentality too that we already like.
That's the mantra. That's the mantra, Trey. You see?
Yeah.
We doing mantras. Now it's become a thing, you know?
Yeah. Just like a baseline expectation for us at this point. So, you know, like I'm messing with all of this. So like this is all fire.
Man, appreciate that, man. I'm gonna wrap it up tonight just by saying thank you, man. I appreciate everybody for jumping on. This was an idea. Everybody was like really talking about, hey man, we need to do this. We always talking together. We need to, you know, make this public. We need to put this together. And Cats has been on every week, you know what I'm saying, every time, just showing up, supporting, you know, sharing perspective.
Khaled, yo, salute to your consistency, God.
Yeah, I'm saying the same to y'all, man.
You back there work like, you know, we show up when we can, but your consistency, you know what I'm saying, what you dealing with, yo, man, if it's being documented very, very well. And if you keep that continuation of unfolding, I see a beautiful master plan that's unfolding, man, and it could be real dope, man. Real dope. It is real dope. Let's just speak it into existence. It is, man. So keep up the good work with the consistency of what you're doing. It keeps me looking forward to whatever y'all want to get on or whatever. Even though I may have wherever I may go with it, that's what we would do in Egypt, God. That's what we would do. Contradiction was the order of the day. Life is the biggest contradiction there is. So it's going to be open up for dialogue in many different directions.
Exactly.
And that's the whole shit, man. And we would get together and it would be like, I did this and I had this plan, or I did this and this didn't work. With all we want, nigga, did it work? Did it work? That's what niggas in Egypt was about. Did it work? Well, shit. If he did this and skint the cat or took some rabbit hairs and sprinkled around his and the niggas didn't eat his, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Little shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like, it wasn't about trying to prove who's you get what I'm saying?
So being able to speak, yo, it ain't no ego.
Yeah, God.
Everybody just share, you know, their perspective. That's what I love.
That's why I want to salute the way that the way you hold it and the consistency of it and the different shit the different bags you jump out of. Yo, man, you know I'm gonna rock with you. You know what I mean? This the brotherhood is ill. It's ill. It's ill because we go back. You know what I mean? And it's just
facts.
And Trey, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he my brother just because I know you, and it's just ill how the dynamic play out, man. And yo, man, keep this shit rocking, bro.
Yeah,
keep
man,
this shit rocking.
That's why I said, yo,
Word up.
Told me about Dorian, gave me the insight into you, King. I was very happy you were going to jump on tonight just to just to be amongst other like-minded people. It's not as many of us out here as we think. It's a lot of people who talk this shit, but it's not a lot of people who actually live this shit. You know what I'm saying? Every day,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
this is culture. You know what I'm saying? This is who we are. We not faking it. We not joking about this shit. Like anybody who knows us is like, yo, them niggas always been different. So you know what I'm saying? And it just is what it is. So it's just good to have like-minded people like that.
Right.
So man, hey man, love you brothers, man. Hey, look, start your strong off strong. Me not
Damn right. Hey, I'm gonna get Dre ass, man.
Man, get on him, man. We need him back.
We gotta get the rides back on.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You brothers have a good week, man. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Bless y'all.
A good strong.
Wrong. There it is.
Fix that. That nigga. Word.
Peace.